All right, so the first one we're gonna go over, and the most popular, is the Texas rig. And so for this example, I'm gonna use a worm just to make it a little bit easier rather than a creature bait. So on most worms, there's a flat side, and if there isn't a flat side, then it doesn't matter how you rig it. But this one has a flat side. So what I wanna do, I want the hook point to come out that flat side. So first, I'm gonna start with poking that hook on the top of this bait, and then I'm gonna poke it out. Let's see, I'm gonna have to look at it real quick. I'm gonna poke it out that back side, but I'm gonna go all the way to where that hook starts to bend before I poke it out the back. And then I can slide it all the way up till you get, this hook has an offset. So that's a worm style hook. It has the offset here, the little bend in the hook. So I'm gonna run that all the way up, and as I get to the top, that's when I'm gonna start spinning it. I spin it until that little offset part comes out that back flat side. And that's gonna allow me to attach it to this hook fairly easy. So I wanna kind of measure up. So I want basically the hook to sit like that. So though there's no bend in the worm, it's fairly even. So I'm gonna take that worm, I'm gonna bend it up a little bit and then stick it in so it's has room to kind of fall down on that shank, leaving the bait inside of the hook. And then you kind of have it nice and even there. So this bait, like I said, it's most popular. And the reason why it is because it, as well as just this Texas rig, it goes on some other rigs that I'll show you here in a second, but it just allows a kind of a weedless approach where you're not gonna get snagged in a lot of things. When the fish actually bites the bait, it's gonna squeeze down, revealing that, if you can see it, that little hook point comes out, and that allows you to pull that into the fish. You can rig it like this, where it's weightless, or you can, so you would rig this up like this, and then you can slide down a weight. This is a bullet style weight, so that allows it kind of to pull through cover a little bit easier because of its shape. And then there is a thing called a peg. What I use is a bobber stopper, and what a peg does, it basically, you can see that, it's that little red, that's my bobber stoppers you can buy, a little red rubber piece. And you can slide that down all the way down to the top of there, and then that holds that weight from sliding up and down your line. You can also, so that helps if you're throwing into a thicker cover and you don't want that line to get wrapped around a stick or drug across the rock and cut it. That helps it kind of be a little bit more streamlined. But you can also, if you're fishing in grass or something that you need that bait maybe to fall down behind it, you can slide that bobber stop up and allow that weight to kind of free swing on that line, so to speak. So that weight would fall down, and then your bait's kind of chase down behind it. If you don't have bobber stoppers, or you just don't want to use bobber stoppers, you can use a toothpick. And all you do with the toothpick is you take it in this back side, this opening hole, and stick it in the end of that hole there. And all you do, and then you kind of slide it down where you want it with a toothpick all the way in the whole length. And then you basically take that toothpick, which I don't have one. Let's use this for example. That toothpick would be sticking out like that. And then you take that toothpick and you just break it off as close as you can to the bottom of that weight. And that's gonna do the same thing as that bobber stop would and hold that weight in place. So let's take that worm off. So we have a creature bait here, and this is also a creature bait, but in a shad pattern. So a lot of things like in nature, animals, most all animals, their bellies are lighter than their backs. And that's something that bait manufacturers do as well, same with shad. Shad are dark, minnows are dark on their back and lighter on their bellies, bass, crappie, everything. So that's what bait manufacturers have done And most baits, unless it's all the same color, is they have a darker side and a lighter side. So like this one, darker back, it's a crawl pattern with a lighter belly. This one here is a shad pattern. It has that dark shad back and then the lighter belly. So that's kind of going to help you indicate which way you need to stick that hook in, to how to rig it, which is your bottom. Same as the worm with that flat side. That bottom is the lighter side, and that's where your hook is going to come out. But that, guys, that's the Texas rig. Like I said, it's one of the most popular just because it's very versatile. You can do a lot of things, from sliding that weight up and making that bait chase and fall, or sliding it down and making it really compact and weedless and able to throw it in bushes without getting hung up, and just a very versatile bait.